Hello everybody, my name's Esco, and I'm joined here with a friend of mine named, I don't know, what do you want to say, kid?
Vasquez, of course.
Okay, alright. We're going to be playing some CSGO casual since this kid has to do, gotta get his private rank 3, which
Yep,
takes fucking forever.
yep. This game is hardcore.
What's your opinion on that, huh? I think it's kinda
I res-
gay.
well, I mean, I kind of respect it, sort of.
It's
I don't
mostly to
know.
keep Smurfs from smurfing.
Yeah, but
That's
I
the
mean,
reason behind it.
I kind of feel like it's keeping like the noobs away from competitive because of the whole uh toxic player things, you know?
Yeah, it is, in a
Because
sense,
because
but
I feel like if you just let guys who just barely started the game play competitive matches, they'll just ruin the entire game for the rest of the team. Since this game is really heavily cooperative based, you know.
yeah.
So I mean that's how I feel about it. I mean it's kind of gay, but I understand it at the same time.
I don't know. It's sort of, here to. It's mostly here to protect from smurfing since it takes a shit ton of time to get to competitive before the new
Yeah,
account can actually do any damage to matchmaking, which is a good
yeah,
idea. But it doesn't necessarily stop past smurfs. Smurf accounts that were already there before the update can still mess around in matchmaking. So
can they really?
yeah,
Well, what's your opinion on Smurfs then?
I I actually I kind of like having Smurfs sometimes because
Why is that?
it gives you a challenge, gives you that
Like,
time like to play with better players, and you can learn from their techniques and maybe even win against a Smurf. I've had that happen.
yeah, I mean, since they're basically pretty high advanced players, um, playing with them can be good sometimes because then you'll learn a thing or two. And that's what this game is all about, you know, learning how to play. I mean, this game, I mean, it's not Call of Duty. You know what I mean?
Not at all. You
Like,
can't run and gun. It doesn't work unless you're using the P90. This
yeah,
is really the only gun you can use that will work.
yeah, that's true. And I mean, this game, I feel like this game is vastly superior to Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
this game, it actually takes skill to like win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Call of Duty games like those just you're winning like almost all the time.
That's true, and that's I don't know. I just don't like Call of Duty. Well, I mean, I used to like it. Like, I think my first Call of Duty was World at War, and I really liked it, you know.
Hmm.
But you know, after that, like after Modern Warfare 2, it just sort of started to lose its touch, you know.
Yeah.
It started to feel like the same game every year, and it was just annoying. And the thing is, how Call of Duty doesn't require any skill to play, unlike this game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This game requires like a shit ton of skill. To land your shots and all that stuff, you know?
Hmm.
That's why I
Most
feel
games in Call of Duty, I mean, most guns in Call of Duty are the same.
yeah, yeah, and that brings me to my second point, where every gun in this game is different. Like the spray patterns is different, the way you handle a gun is different. It has different has different recoils and stuff like that. You know,
Hmm.
it takes skill to use every gun, and it's not all the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I saw that one YouTube tutorial video about the spray patterns, you know, and how the guy described it was that every gun has their own personality, you know, and you'll like some and you won't like others, but like it all comes down to learning the gun, basically.
Yep. Learning how it handles and everything.
Yeah, and so I feel like there's a vast variety between the guns. Like when I use an SMG and then I use an AR, there's a difference. You can tell. Um,
Hmm.
the rate of fire and all that stuff is different every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
It all differs.
yeah, and so that's what I like. But when you play Call of Duty, most of the guns, even if they're in different what's it called? Different categories. They all handle the same. If you play with an SMG in Call of Duty, or if you play with an assault rifle, they all feel the same. And I mean, that's basically how it is. That's how they made it. Every gun is meant to be the same. You know?
They have skins and stuff in this game, just as they have skins in Call of Duty.
Yeah.
The reality is, those things are just purely cosmetic.
Yeah.
They're not here to make the gun better or anything.
And I mean, that's the same thing with Call of Duty, but I mean, they don't change anything up with the guns in Call of Duty. It's all about the skins and shit, you know? And so that's another thing that kind of pisses me off. Is that
the amount of DLC in the game is there is a lot of DLC.
There is, and I hate it how people eat it up like fucking candy. You know what I mean? Because I mean, in the end, what does it do? You know what I mean? I mean, like I like skins in CS:GO and all that. It's nice to have a skin here now and then, you know. But I just when you pay for a skin, it's kind of like what the fuck, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Counter-Strike actually doesn't have any DLC.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And like, I don't know. I just feel like how Call of Duty, they put like little effort, and I mean, like, you know how it comes out every 6 months, right?
Wait, what are you talking about?
Call of Duty.
Yeah, it comes out like every half year.
Yeah, and so that's another thing. It's one thing that pisses me off, because they put like little effort into the game, and they get a shit ton of money. You know, it's kind of like rewarding the kid for doing something bad.
Yep.
And so that kind of pisses me off, how a game that lacks content like Call of Duty makes so much damn money. You know. To whereas I feel like the thing did we fuck up, dude?
Huh? What's up?
Damn it. Raiden?
What?
I think we fucked up, maybe.
What happened?
We fucked up, didn't we?
How?
Because I heard your dad in the background.
Oh, this is background noise.
Oh, fuck. Damn it. What do we do now?
Just keep going on.
Alright. Well, I forgot where I was. What was I saying?
Talking about Call of Duty.
Oh shit. Oh, okay, right. I feel like, I don't know, I just don't like COD. I used to love it. You know, I used to be a fanboy. I mean, if you play the older CODs like World at War, and you play the more newer ones like AW, you can tell the difference. I mean, back in Modern Warfare, no, back in World at War, like, cover was your best friend. You know, you gotta stick with cover, you know? And the thing is that the maps weren't so linear and so symmetrical as the maps now in the newer Call of Duties. They're not symmetrical.
Yeah, they kind of like copy and paste most of them.
Yeah, basically, like, they build one side of the map and then they basically just paste the other side. If you fold the map in half, it'd fit perfectly. And it's just lazy. Back in World at War, the maps were like vastly different, you know? They remind me of the CS:GO maps, you know what I mean? And the thing is that, like, camping was like virtually impossible. I mean, because like most maps, most buildings, they had multiple entrances, not just 3 you had to look over. There was like 5, 6 entrances you had to watch, and you were vulnerable for multiple areas. And it was just not easy to camp. And like, it's not like it didn't really enforce camping that much. It didn't encourage it that much, but like
everyone does it mostly.
But yeah, nowadays everybody does it because the map is symmetrical as shit, and it's easy to camp because there's like 1 or 2 entrances you have to watch, and that's about it, you know. But back in World at War, like, mobility was, I don't know. I felt like mobility and camping were a bit balanced. You know what I mean? Because you had to stay on your feet because there were shit tons of entrances and shit tons of places where you were like vulnerable and visible. But then again, cover is your best friend, so I felt like mobility and the camping aspect were really balanced. And so, I mean, it's one thing that like CS:GO captures really well. At least I think so. I mean, people can still camp in this game, right? But
yeah, they can. But there's like grenades and stuff like that that can flush them out. There's techniques you can get to get people out of those areas.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that this game doesn't have regenerating health. So if you're lit up, you know, to like lit up for like what 80, you're basically fucked right there.
Yep.
And like if they toss another grenade in there, you're done for, you know. And then like getting back to the spot you were is hard. You know, it's like it's like I don't know. I feel like this game did it right. You know.
Yeah, definitely did. Lots of time and work went into this game.
Yeah, and the thing is that it aged well as well. You know what I mean? How old is this game again? Like
10 years.
10 years
around that area.
10, 9. Yeah, it aged well. Most games from 10 years ago, people don't even play it. Most FPSs from 10 years ago, nobody plays it, right?
Nobody likes playing those kinds of games back.
Yeah, like
they're
this
really
game,
old.
The gameplay from this game is very unique and it's fun as well. You know, that's what I like. That's what I like about it. How it aged so well and how the player base is still pretty huge. And the thing about skill in this game, I'm going back to that, is that how you say? I feel like the skill gap in this game should be respected, you know? Even if you get your ass handed to you by, what, an MG2, and you're like a private, you know? I mean, like, they earned that, you know? They get to whip your ass because they put countless hours into this game, you know? And so they deserve getting the chance to whip your ass, you know? And if you want to be as good as that guy, you have to dedicate like him as well, you know?
Gotta be dedicated. You get better that way, stuff like that.
Yeah, and the thing is that this game, it really isn't for casual players. It really isn't. Like, with my little time on it, like, I think I have like 10 hours on this game. I already know that this game isn't for casuals. It's not. It's for,
people who actually want to have an actual fight. They don't want to, you know. Yeah,
like, well, I mean, Call of Duty gunfights, I don't know, they just don't seem that exciting to me, you know? Especially with the guns and how they're not that exciting or different. Most of the guns are the same, and like, I don't know, I feel like, remember Just 514?
Yeah.
I feel like people are always complaining about their gunfights and stuff, and I mean, like, when you look at it, it kind of does look bland, but at least it's different. There's different variety and stuff like that. But when you play COD, the only difference really is the cosmetics.
Yeah, gunfights aren't too different at all.
That's true, and like in this game, when you have a gunfight, the guns, like it's a gunfight, you know. It depends on the guns that you have, you know. If you run up to a guy with a pistol and the other guy has like a Negav, who's gonna win?
Obviously the guy with the Negav, but then again, if you're a pro and you can hit those headshots, it could be either or. Most likely, like 99% of the time, it will be the Negav though. Yeah,
but then again, it comes back to the skill. You know, if you're an MG1 or an MG2, and the private class 1 or whatever has the Negav, I mean, you might be able to pull out that headshot, you know, in that clutch situation. Like, you feel great, you know what I mean? Cause like you just like headshotted a dude with a Negav, you know, and it comes back to that skill gap, you know. Obviously, the more elite player is more likely to win, even though if he has the more sucky weaponry. You know, and I feel like
you like that mid-air shot,
again, back to the guns and stuff. I feel like they did it right, you know. Pistols are pistols, you know. Assault rifles are assault rifles. Heavy machine guns are heavy machine guns, you know. It doesn't feel all that balanced.
God damn it.
I mean, like, I know that they have to get the gun somewhere on like the same level for it to be playable, but I mean, they kind of went for that realistic taste, you know, because if you spray with like a light machine gun, you're gonna get some kills, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like when it comes to sniper rifles, yeah, they're usually one hit, one kill, because that's how powerful those things are. So I feel like they got it right, but then again, it comes down to balancing and stuff like that, and then it also comes down to skill. Like I said, the lower leveled guy with the Negav could lose to the higher level guy with the what's it called, the pistol, the
They
Glock.
really balanced the guns out too, with making them
Yeah.
cost money and everything.
Yeah, that too. That's another thing that makes this game more complex, and it makes it really turns off the casual players. You know what I mean? Because I remember when I was a casual player, and I used to be afraid of buying games that looked too advanced for me. You know, like games like Battlefield and stuff like that. They used to turn me off because I'm like, oh goddamn, I gotta ride all these cars and shit. But it really got me to experience more hardcore games is when I played Halo, you know, because like when they started adding the vehicles, I'm like, man, this is really fun, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like this game, it's already pretty complex. I mean, like, you gotta, there's no running and gunning in this game. If you try to do that, you're gonna die, you know.
Most definitely. I mean, there are some guns that are pretty accurate when running, but they aren't as good as the rifles, and long-range weaponry, stuff like that. They aren't as powerful.
And for those guns, you have to be pretty still, and like you have to aim.
Yeah, you have to remember the spray patterns, or else the running and gunning thing just won't work for you.
Yeah. The thing about this game that makes it even more complex, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And, like, especially with that buying stuff, you know. I mean, sometimes people find it like unnecessary and like a waste of time, but I feel like it adds to the game, you know.
Definitely does, definitely.
Because it's not like Call of Duty where you spawn with your light machine guns and your assault rifles and shit. You know, it kind of limits what weapon you can use.
You got that eco feel type of thing, like you're actually trying to, you know, win so your teammates can gain some extra money and they can start doing better against the enemy team. Well,
that, and I mean, it also adds it makes you use certain guns that you're not comfortable with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it kind of, in some rounds you'll be down to money and you have no choice. You have to buy something, else your teammates will start losing even more.
Yeah, and then you'll get stuck with the Glock or the Deagle, you know, and those guns are terrible.
Yep.
And so, I mean, like, this game, it kind of forces you to, like, really expand your playstyle, you know? Because then again, you have to remember the spray pattern, and you have to remember how it handles and stuff like that. If you don't know how your gun handles and stuff, you're probably not going to be good with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're most likely going to die with it, be screwed, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and I feel like it adds to it, really.
Definitely does, definitely.
Like, I mean, you also gotta think, like, alright, do I want to spend 2K on this assault rifle for this round, or should I save? You know what I mean? Yeah, so I mean, I feel like it adds to it. I mean, this game, I would recommend it. Definitely would. With the little time I have with it, you know, it's pretty fun, you know. It really does make you feel like a badass. I mean, like, not in the way that you get, like, 300 kills every round, you know? But, in the fact that, like, when you get, like, that clutch, you know? Especially since this game is, like, really hard, and then you get into a clutch situation, but then you kill all those three fuckers who are, like, who have you cornered, you know? You feel fucking great, you know? Because this game, it isn't Call of Duty, and playing this game is so much fucking harder. And so when you pull out that clutch situation, and you kill all those three fuckers, right? The enemy team... The enemy team is down 3 players, and you're like, fuck yeah, I did that, you know what I mean? And so, I don't know, kills in this game, they feel much more satisfying than in Call of Duty. Because,
they do. Using weapons like the AWP, they really show off that aspect.
Yeah, and since the guns are hard to handle in this game, it's not like Call of Duty, it really shows off your skills, you know? And like, going back to the kill thing, when you kill somebody in Call of Duty, it doesn't feel all that special. That's why they have all those like perks and what's it called?
Oh yeah, perks. I almost completely forgot about that. They kind of sway the game and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I mean also those kill streaks and stuff like that. That's why Call of Duty has that, because they know that a kill means nothing in Call of Duty. So that's why they had, like, kill streaks and stuff like that. Oh, kill 5 guys, you get, like, a missile, you know? And, I mean, not saying that that's a bad thing, because, like, back in Modern Warfare...
This game, it's more kill 5 guys and you get a better weapon.
Yeah. And
that's the kind of gameplay for, since CSGO.
Yeah, and I mean, I like it. It's pretty badass. And getting a kill in this game It makes you feel badass. I remember when I first got the game, we played some competitive casual, you know? When I killed a fucker on the enemy team, dude, I felt fucking great. I was like, hell yeah, I killed that fucker. You know what I mean? You know, and it just feels so much more satisfying than it ever would in Call of Duty, because the game requires so much more skill and much more talent than in Call of Duty. In Call of Duty, you run around, you kill a guy, okay, whatever. You know what I mean?
That happens all the time, yeah.
Yeah, it happens all the time. It's nothing special. Well, when you kill somebody in CS:GO, you're like, holy shit, I killed that guy, you know? Or when you get into that double clutch situation where there's two guys and they corner you and you kill them both, you know? You're like, holy fuck, I feel like a badass, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's what I like about this game. I fought it for that, you know? Badass game.
Gives you the real good feel, you know? It's not artificial or anything.
Yeah, it's not artificial, and that's the thing that Call of Duty does, and it nails it perfectly, you know? Because in Modern Warfare 2, when Call of Duty like started to go down, I remember that they added the tactical nuke, right?
Yeah, that was a bad decision.
No, I actually liked it because it made you feel like a badass, basically, you know?
It did, but the fact that it wipes out everybody was kind of a little over the top in terms of, you know... I mean, of course you earned it, but you don't see that kind of thing in here.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they were going through desperate measures, you know? So when that tactical nuke was announced, you know, and I got my first tactical nuke, dude, I felt like a badass, you know, because you gotta kill 25 people without dying once, you know? And I remember my first tactical nuke, and I heard the Russian guy in the background, he was all like, tactical nuke ready, you know, and shit like that. I'm like, oh shit, nigga, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I got that nuke, I killed you guys 25 times without dying, you know? It felt great. I felt rewarded, you know? And when I called that thing in, dude, it was badass. I ended the game, everybody died, and they were all cursing and shit, and the satisfaction was amazing. Nowadays, what is it now? Is it like the DNA bomb or something like that?
I honestly have zero idea what it is.
I don't know. I think they dumbed it down to where it's more accessible, easier to get, you know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, I think they did.
I didn't hear about that, but if they just made it a lot easier to get, what makes it special?
Well, I mean, yeah, exactly, and that's the thing that Call of Duty is doing. They're making it really accessible for, like, really more younger audiences to play, for, like, 9-year-olds and stuff like that. That's why I sort of just don't like Call of Duty anymore. Like, when you play a game like CS:GO, when are you ever gonna find a 9-year-old playing this game, you know?
There are some people, children who play this game, but,
do you ever play it for, like...
People... I've seen, I'm not sure if they were legit kids, but I've had, people who've had that kind of high-pitched voice up in my league before, but, sure, some people can make it if they're dedicated, let's say, you know, but, yeah, it sure does detour lots and lots of, the younger audiences away from this game.
Yeah, and unless you're, like, you really want to be, like, an MG1 or an MG2, you know, you're really not gonna go that far. Out of all my games I've ever played in this, in CS:GO, I've only come across one squeaker.
Only come across what?
One squeaker, one kid. Out of all my games, ever.
Yeah, it happens. They're there. Every game has its fair share, but Call of Duty has a crap ton more.
Yeah, every Call of Duty lobby I get in, there's at least one kid on there, you know, who's all cussing and stuff, and I mean, like, who the fuck bought you this game and why, you know?
Yeah, we've all been that kind of person, though. We've all been the younger player, but... Yeah,
that's true, but I mean, I don't know, I've been very mature since a young age, you know what I mean? And
what I did in the, my younger ages was just not speak. You know, it worked out for the better, honestly.
I mean, like, I remember when I got my first mic to use in Call of Duty, you know, and, like, I really never fought or really offended anybody. I was just like, oh, hey, what's up, guys, you know? And, you know, sometimes there'd be the occasional asshole who's like, oh my god, we're a fucking squeaker here, you know?
Yeah.
But, I don't know, I mean, like, most of the kids on Call of Duty are usually assholes, you know, because they usually start insulting you and shit for doing that, or for killing you, or for killing him. You know, they're like, oh my god, you suck, you're hacking, you're camping, you have no skill, you know? And that's another thing that really turns me off in Call of Duty is like the whole flame wars that go on and shit, you know, for stupid reasons, you know? And I mean, like, is really stealing a kill in Call of Duty, does it really matter? Going back to that topic where like kills really mean nothing in Call of Duty, you know?
No, it honestly, games like Search and Destroy, maybe, I don't know. Like the hardcore Search and Destroy where you know you die and you stay dead, but
well, yeah,
that's
but I'm
usually not the game that everybody plays.
yeah, and I mean this in CS:GO, it's always hardcore. You know what I mean? It's always gonna be hardcore unless you're playing a game like Gun Game. And most people will argue that like, oh, Gun Game is just Call of Duty, you know, in CS:GO. But I mean, I feel like Gun Game is a good way to train train yourself with the variety of weapons in the game. You know what I mean?
Train yourself, prepare yourself for the competitive feel, you know.
Yeah,
Get into
well,
the
no,
game
not
better.
not that, but to train yourself with the weapons, because remember how every weapon is so different and so unique, you know? Like, every 2 kills, the game gives you a different gun, and you have to adapt to that gun, you know? And it's gonna be like in competitive, you know? You might not have enough money for the rifle that you usually use, and you might have to use a different one, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, I feel like Gun Game does train you with other weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I would recommend this game if you're looking for a challenge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a pretty good
you're-
game.
If you're,
Anyways,
yeah, if like you're looking for a good game, you know, with great gameplay and challenging audiences, you know, mature audiences, you know,
most of the time, anyways.
most of the time, I feel like you should get this game. This game is for you. But yeah.
Alright. We've
You're gonna-
gotten through this for quite a while, so I think,
We're gonna end it here.
yeah,
All
I don't
right.
have an outro, so I'll just say it, you know, we're
Thanks
ending it.
for watching, you guys. Hope you tune in again.
Mhm.
This is
Let's go Blizzard and Vasquez Kid. Thanks for
Tuning
watching.
out.
Bye.